We back with full auto Knight of the Lake. Thank God B-side did not touch hard. After the last few fails they did, I was honestly worried. Also, happy holidays, everyone. A little late, but I hope you got to spend some time with family and loved ones. Since I'm not doing a DC strats this season, I figured I would at least let you guys know what the extra mods do. By the way, did you guys know they actually named them? The minimum score to get to is 12k, and we will do our best to reach that. I have a budget team and then an invested team. My budget team will consist of farmable units and the units available to new players through the selector. So let me show you what I got. Oh boy, welcome to the easiest min score I have ever seen. This Tempest alone does about a quarter of the boss's HP on its own. Well, I mean, I say Tempest, but like the little Tempest soldiers. This doesn't take a lot. You don't actually need a healer just to get min score. Like, if you wanted to, you'd replace Sky with a healer if you wanted to add some more mods. Definitely would be better to use 3-arm Javelin instead of a level 100 Javelin, but I know that's like on the last of your list, and to rearm at this point. So that that's why we have Orca and Game, and even Orca is kind of last on the list. But at these mods, Hilde is immortal. She cannot die. I don't think there is a way she could die. She yeah, no, she just full damage, CDR, and yeah, she's a god. Honestly, Ifrit, like I feel like I should have done Soyun instead of Ifrit, just to make the little wardens more powerful and make Hilde more powerful. And apparently Orca's a god too. I swear, anything that's behind the boss that's a tank does not die. Like, it's supposed to take more damage and all this other junk, but it just doesn't die back there. So a quick, easy 1300. You probably don't even need mods at all, but since I'm not using any soldiers other than Choina, we went ahead and took it because it's free points. For the budget team, we are running Tempest as his ship, Ana as the operator, and we're leading with Orca here. Orca we just have on standard tank gear, though she could probably at these mods go on some damage gear and still be okay. For Gayun, we're running a broken set with just as much anti-ground since this boss is a tower. There's not much free-to-play gear for tower, so just stack anti-ground damage. Sky, we're just running the free-to-play CDR set, but A speed would honestly be better on her, tanky A speed. For Xiaolin, again, we're just running whatever we can, but we're stacking as much ground damage as we can on her. Her rearm version does do more damage, so I would suggest her if you rearmed her. Choi Ina, we're running her EE and then ground res. A speed set would just be better overall, but her EE is important, so it actually does better than an attack speed set. So if you can plus 10 it, then, or even plus 5 is still pretty good. So just run her EE and then whatever else you can afford to put on her. Hilde, we are running CDR set with ground damage. She has bonus against the boss because of struggle. She doesn't need much ground res, and her shields are kind of important, but she does do decent damage. Maria, we're running whatever we can for CDR. We want her spamming her skill, ultis, and all that good stuff, but CDR is a set you really want to run on her with ground damage. And then Ifrit, if you were to happen to gear Ifrit, or even use Ifrit, because frankly, Ifrit didn't really serve her purpose here. I just kind of threw him in because he was free to play, farmable, but you could do Soyun, you could do, if you feel like you need another healer, if you up the mods, there's a whole bunch of different things you could do with Ifrit, but yeah, if anything, just stack ground damage, go attack speed on them, or anti-tower, and that'll work. So we are going from super easy to We're gonna go ahead and proc our Sysop as soon as possible, deploying Linjian, Ecclesia, and Chinatsu. Now, Linjian's not the smartest and runs ahead of her front line, so she ends up taking a lot of damage. You need at least 76% skill haste in order to keep Linjian alive if she has 67% ground res. Now, if you're having issues with that, you can decrease the HP mods or decrease your skill haste mods so Chinatsu can ult in time. Now, if you're having issues with the timing on a Hilde and staying in front of the boss, you may have to increase or decrease the attack and A speed mods accordingly in order to get that timing just right. Shouldn't be too difficult though. And as long as a Hilde gets right there, you should be okay. A Hilde is pretty good on this boss. She takes reduced damage and she spawns shields, so she does an alright job tanking, but we still need a healer, and Chinatsu doesn't die fast enough. Well, dies fast enough, but you can't cycle back to her quick enough. So, you know, we have Ministra coming out here to reduce the boss's attack. Plus, she also does pretty good damage on her own with her reactor and her basic attack damage amp. But even still, with that attack down, you still need to heal a bit. And then pretty much, thankfully, since Ministra's actually, she's got the origin against this boss, it's going along pretty quickly, even though we don't have our Mordred out. Now, see, this is why we needed that extra healer. Dang, Hilde almost died. I forgot how slow people attack on minus 40% A speed. Jesus. Then again, yeah. So we're just waiting for this ulti right here, which should do a good chunk of damage to the boss. Granted, it's the longest ult in the world, but it does the job. And of course, Mordred being our #1 DPS, she basically carries this fight. Everyone else doing a pretty good job, actually. For the invested team, we are going with Quad as the ship and Sysop as the operator. For Linjian, we want to be as tanky as possible with as much CDR. We want to run skill haste with ground damage res lines on the substats. For Ecclesia, we kind of want to do the same, but since Ecclesia only needs 2 lines of ground res to reach cap, we can actually afford to put ground damage on her so she actually does some damage. Chinatsu, we want as tanky as possible with as much skill haste as possible. 76 seems to work out, but obviously more is better. For Mordred, we are going, oddly enough, with Death Pin. Death Pin helps us rush the first part of the fight since we can't death break the boss very well. It doesn't really help out in the later parts, but since Mordred has 80% anti-CO damage, it works out. Joy-Ina, we actually just go with a broken set. We want her tanky, but we need her EE, and an HP set and crit res and ground res all help keep her from getting stunned and generating DP for us. Hilde, we actually go with a CDR. I'm not running full maze on her because I actually do want some evasion. I didn't quite do the numbers to figure out if it even mattered, but just out of safety, I threw whatever evasion piece I could on her. For Ministra, we are actually going double anti-tower. She comes out at the end of the fight, so the boss doesn't have any defense at that point, and because the boss gains Cat 2 res, her reactor actually helps out here with the basic skill damage amp. And then for Carmen, we are going with tanky CDR as well. We need her to keep Hilde alive and healthy. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you get the minimum score this season. I'm glad they didn't go too ham on this boss, still having nightmares over 17 mil HP and perfect evasion. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Institute by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link is in the description. And if you want to help support this channel, there's a link in the description for that too. As always, I will see you all next time.